Hey lovers, I want to talk about devotion and worship. And I wondered if this title might trigger you or like bring up something for you like that's not true or what's she talking about? Men want to worship. This is my understanding. This is my knowing about us as humans that in our heart and when we're open, we actually do want to completely devote ourselves to someone, whether it's just in one experience or for a lifetime partnership or many years, who knows what. And we have that form of expression through marriage. We say, I'm devoted, I'm committed. But I'm talking about the devotion and worship that can be expressed in lovemaking. That when the sexual energy can rise up to the heart, when we can feel safe with it, and often we need major guidance around that, releasing the shame and feeling safe with the power and potency of our sexual energy. But when it does open more and more, then your heart naturally wants to worship and devote itself to either, the experience at hand, the moment at hand, the love in that expression, in that day that you have, or in the ongoing lovemaking experience. And we don't do it. We don't do it for many reasons, because we've certainly got the impression in our culture that devotion is not safe, right? Like worshiping somebody is not safe. You're giving up your individuality. If it's to a teacher, they'll probably take advantage of you. They could take over your mind. You could lose yourself. And I get that. Like, I'm not encouraging that. I'm talking about when your heart is so open and you can't stop yourself from worshiping another, whether this is just in an exchange or in a sexual experience. How beautiful if we could reclaim that and not be afraid of it. Because it's just the mind that goes, oh, I'll be lost, or they'll take advantage of me, or that person will hurt me, or it's not safe. Like, panic, don't do it. Even if it's your natural inclination, stop. And I think this is really hurting us, to shut down this tendency to want to worship in all of us. But I want to speak to men's natural tendency to be so open and loving and devotional and worship their partner. And with that being so shut down, it just, there's this encouragement of this other part of men. I mean, it's changing a bit here and there, right? But there's just been this, like, oh, men are just that way, as in, I don't know, have this violent, instinctual nature, and, they'll be taken over by their sexual energy. They can't control themselves, all this sort of stuff. And we're just not paying enough attention, I don't think, to the desire to worship. So I'm hoping that you'll, whoever you are, whoever you're in relationship with, you'll plant that seed of devotion and worship, and whether you want that in your own lovemaking, and whether you want to see that, blossom in yourself. So curious if you had any questions about that. Also talking on podcast on Sex, Love, and Longing on Podbean. And I'm going to get a couple men on the podcast and have this discussion with them about devotion, worship, and hear their perspective. So tune into that or follow that if you enjoy podcasts on Podbean, Sex, Love, and Longing. Thanks.